My favorite verse of Scripture, I think the people here at the church would know that without me even quoting it. It was given to me, I believe, from the Lord when I was a new convert. God spoke to my heart and said, I'm not going to abandon you. I don't do rough-end jobs. I'm a turnkey construction expert. And it's Philippians chapter 1, verse number 6. And the King James says, being confident of this one thing, that he that hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ.
He who began a good work in you, he who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. He'll be faithful to complete it. He who started the work will be faithful to complete it in you. If the struggle you're facing is slowly replacing your hope with despair, or the process is long and you're losing your song in the night, you can be sure that the Lord has His hand on you, safe and secure. He will never abandon you. You are His treasure, and He finds His pleasure in you. He who began a good work in you, He who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it.
I'm grateful that as a board we made the decision that we would tithe out of the general fund to missions. And God honored that. We increased our missions giving, and the church sent us on a missions trip to dedicate a church that the Grays had helped build in Togo, West Africa, and that was a great experience. And we went on other missions trips. But I suppose as I look back and I see churches today that make a mistake, they get into a crunch, they build a new building, and the first thing they said, oh, we've got to cut back on our missions giving. And it's almost like committing spiritual suicide. I think the greatest challenge that the church of today has is to keep the fire burning. Don't let the fire go out. Make the commitment that regardless of what it costs, we're going to keep the fire burning, and we're going to be a church that's alive. We're not going to live in the past. We're not going to live on the reputation of yesterday, but we're going to be the church of today, a church that's alive and dynamic and filled with the Spirit of God. We've got to pass the torch on to this generation. We've got to let them know that, there is a cost to be Pentecostal. I guess the old classic, we've come this far by faith, trusting in the Lord. And I guess it's going to be the same faith that has brought us at this juncture that's going to take us home. I may not always be faithful. I haven't always been faithful. But God is. He is a faithful God.
We've come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in His holy word. He's never failed us yet. We can't turn back. We've come this far by faith. Don't be discouraged with trouble in your life. He'll bear your burdens and move all discord and strife. Oh, yeah.
My wife is just a very, very special person. Highly, highly gifted as a teacher. Many of the folks that have grown up here that was in her Sunday school class would tell you that she was an excellent teacher. My wife would sit probably in the same pew every Sunday here, and while I was preaching, she wasn't dozing off to sleep, and she wasn't planning, what she was going to have for dinner that day, and she wasn't doing it. She was into the service, and she was praying for me, and she was supporting me. My wife's been my best supporter. Wherever I felt God leading me, she supported me. Not a great singer, but a great, great person. She was a great prayer warrior. My wife prayed and sought God many times. God would wake her up in the early hours of the morning, and she'd be on her face praying and seeking God. And most people didn't know that. More than that, she was just a faithful partner. I couldn't have made it without her. If I'm writing a legacy, one of the things that I would want to be known as a man who loved his wife. I love my wife. She's a great lady.
Oh, yeah. We've come this far.